Let's go. Okay, hello everyone. Hi, so it's Annie, of course, and I'm joined today with Jess from BooksPastBedtime. Thank you, Jess, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to discuss this book.
Yes, so today we're discussing Sorry Bro by Taleen Voskuni. And it is, of course, a Sapphic book for the Sapphic Book Club. The main character is a bisexual girl, an Armenian girl, so that plays a big part in the book as well. And should we say our ratings about it first before we start?
Sure.
Okay.
We can get into it. I had kind of a love-hate relationship with this book. Like, there were definitely parts of it that I liked and enjoyed, but there were also parts that I didn't like so much or was annoyed by. So I was kind of going back and forth on a rating, and I kind of settled on a 3.5, which is kind of my like default rating when I'm in the middle somewhere. So that was what I rated it, and I rounded down to a 3 on Goodreads.
Okay. Yeah. So I rated it like a 2.5.
Okay.
But I rounded up to a 3.
Okay.
So yeah, almost, pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt the same way, kind of like there were parts of it that I really liked and that I kind of wish the book focused on more, but there were parts of it that I really strongly disliked. A lot of it is that I think I mentioned this in my wrap up and I want to say it again, like the main couple of the book are never gonna last. Like they're not gonna last. They're not compatible. And I feel like the main character really treated the love interest really badly. I was not a fan of the main character at all, quite frankly.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit sad. Because I mean, I don't know when we want to get into spoilers. We can do that a little bit later, but yeah, what is her name? Nar is the main character, and the love interest is Erebuni. And Erebuni, I loved her though.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was great. She
I
was,
almost wish, like, I think I would have liked this book even more if we had her perspective. I
yes.
personally love a romance when we get both of the main couples' perspectives, and I feel like that would have made this book a little bit stronger because, I mean, Nar was kind of annoying. So
Yes.
to have her point of view would have been nice, but
Yeah, I totally agree. I think all romances should have dual POV. So yeah, Brooklyn's Library agrees. Yeah, the main character was yeah, she was very annoying from the get-go.
yeah.
Didn't
To
like.
me, she almost felt more like her decisions and her choices, I felt were more in line with the character in a YA book and not a woman in her late 20s.
Yeah.
Um, like, I just felt so many of the decisions she made were so immature, and I definitely yeah. Like, I can see kind of where it was coming from, and it's not to say, like, the fact that she wasn't out, like, I love stories about women coming out later in their life, like, I think that's very, um, needed, but I feel like
Yeah.
she also was made, like, separate from that issue, immature in her decision making.
Yes. Yeah.
The way
I
she
totally agree. Yeah, she kind of, I feel like she kind of treated Erebuni as like an experiment a little bit. Like I
Yeah,
didn't like how she viewed her at all. Like
yeah.
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
yeah. I
Ugh.
felt like too we got so much of, like, Nar thinking about Arabuni and not enough of them, like, actually interacting, enough relationship development. It
True.
almost felt like Nar just really liked the idea of her.
Yeah, yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, the relationship was not well developed at all.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, I get that they have the like the thing in common of both being Armenian.
Mhm.
Um, but like when I thought it was interesting, like when they first met, they had such different views on it. Like Nar, I forget exactly what she said, I mean, there was some talk about the Armenian genocide, um, and Erebuni is like a person who kind of volunteers and like runs lectures on it and stuff, and Nar just really talked bad about it, like right
Yeah,
in front of Erebuni.
she really sticks her foot in her mouth, and then she
I
doesn't
know.
stick to her opinion either. Like, as soon as she realizes that Arabuni disagrees with her, she just is like, "Oh, you're right." Then why did you say
Yeah,
it in the first
like
place
what?
if you don't
Like
have a strong opinion on it? I just I don't
I
know.
did not understand it. Yeah, I was not a fan of Nar. I didn't like what she like. Okay, I am all for women loving women. Okay, that's the point of this book club, but I did not like how she dealt with the failed romance in the beginning with her
Mm,
longtime boyfriend.
yeah.
How long were they together? Like years.
Yeah, it was like 5 years or something like
Yeah,
that,
it's like,
like a long time.
dude, like what are you doing? Like, yeah,
Yeah,
if what? Like she just kind of treated him like shit. Like
yeah, she really did. Like, at least give him the courtesy of an official breakup before
yeah.
you get into a
Yeah,
pretty
like,
serious relationship with
respect
someone
him.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way she went when he came back, he went on the trip after they had this whole proposal and she refused. When
Mhm.
he came back, she, like, made him think that they were gonna get back together, and that was so shitty.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Like, how are we supposed to root for this girl? Like, I no, I was
Yeah.
ah, yeah, no, and, I don't know if I know some other people mentioned this in the Discord, so I wanna also bring it up that there was some Taylor Swift slander in the
Oh,
book.
yeah, immediately when she said that, I was like, "This is not
Yeah,
boding well for you, Nar."
mhm, yeah,
She called her arch nemesis.
yeah, she
Well, how
said
can Taylor Swift be your arch nemesis? Like,
it's like,
what do you
first of
mean?
all, Taylor doesn't know that you exist,
Yeah.
and second of all, like, just the fact that she said, like, she's too straight, it's like, "You
You
what?
obviously know nothing about Taylor
Excuse me?"
Swift. If you ask any queer person ever, they will probably tell you that Taylor is likely queer.
Yeah, like, very
It's a
likely.
strange thing to say, yeah.
It was very strange, especially because I don't know, I mean, maybe it was I don't know, I'm reading too much into it maybe, but because Nar is bisexual and, like, a lot of people speculate that Taylor is as well, it's just, like it really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah,
Just I don't know what the author was thinking when she put that in, even if it doesn't have anything to do with homophobia or anything like that, it's also just misogynistic and
yeah,
tired. It's like, why?
yeah,
There's absolutely no reason to put that in your book. Like, what?
no. Yeah, it was very strange and very, like, out of touch.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
I mean, I feel like one of the biggest warning signs of misogyny is somebody who hates Taylor Swift.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if I got so mad.
I
I
know.
was so angry.
I'm glad you were also angry about that
Yeah,
because
I was not
it's just
happy
uncalled
when
for.
I was like, "Did I just hear that right? Excuse me." I mean, I know that I'm kinda living in, like, a Gaylor fantasy land, but that it
I
was a
mean,
little
aren't we
it
all?
was too much. Yeah.
Isn't every queer woman?
I mean, yeah. Oh god. Yeah, so well, let's talk about the things we did like,
Okay.
because we're kind of yeah, so yeah, the we're not really big fans of the book, but, I was just yeah, I was a little disappointed because I was so highly anticipating this book, you know?
I know.
Um,
I'm so highly anticipating every, like, sapphic rom-com that comes out,
well, yeah.
and
Yeah,
so many of them, like, let me down, like, I just never feel it
yeah. I mean,
all
they
the way.
can't all be winners, I
Yeah,
guess.
they can't all be Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane.
Yeah, that is a great book. Yes, I know. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciated the Armenian culture stuff.
Yes.
I did think that was interesting. I think a lot of reviewers on Goodreads don't how can I put this? Like, they don't really get why Nar and her family act a certain way, and I don't either, but it might be like a cultural thing that I just don't know about. I mean, Nar is just not a good person in my opinion, so I don't think culture has anything to do with that, but yeah, so there's that. I really loved all the cooking that we got
Yeah.
to see. I loved that.
Mhm.
Yes. I know we have a lot of like people might say we have enough cooking romance books, but I kind of wish it was that instead of just
Yeah.
this weirdness.
There's never enough cooking romance books.
I know there's never enough for me.
Um,
Um,
yeah, but I definitely agree. I really liked the Armenian culture aspects, and I thought that it added a lot of like richness to the story, and it was super interesting to like learn about that. And definitely, that's a culture that's underrepresented in literature, obviously. So it was fun
oh
to
yeah.
see that and learn more about it. Because I mean, I don't know the most about it anyway. So
Hmm.
yeah, I really liked that as well. Um, I'm interested. I feel like a lot of the reviews I read that were from Armenian people really enjoyed it and saw themselves in the
Oh good.
representation. So
Okay.
I'm interested in like what review you were reading because I feel like with Nar talked a lot about her dad and how he
Mhm.
kind of was like swearing off being Armenian, like he really wanted to be American. And I feel like I've heard similar things from like first gen parents before
Mm.
doing that, and then their kids maybe like wanting to relearn the culture and the language and wanting to feel
Mhm.
connected to both, and because of that, like not feeling totally in each world. And I thought that was an interesting part of the story as well, because Nar kind of talks about not feeling totally Armenian and not
Yeah.
feeling totally comfortable in American spaces either, because she's like in between and not enough of one or the other. But I always like that kind of thing in the book, and I really liked Nar's family and like all of her aunties, and I loved her mom.
Yeah. Me too.
Even though she was kind of like pushy with the guys, like she definitely loved Nar and wanted the best for her, and I liked that
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her heart was in the right place for the most
Yes.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I really liked that. Yeah. Like even with my grandparents and like my mom, like she doesn't speak any Italian, and yeah, there's definitely an emphasis on like first generation immigrants to kind of do away with your language and culture and become American fully,
Mhm.
whatever that means. So that was I thought that was really well done in the book too. And yeah, I think the author was definitely trying to kind of have a parallel between that and accepting herself as bisexual as well.
Mhm.
Um, I just don't think that part was super successful. um, was this a debut book? I
Yes,
think
it
it
is.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So, I mean, maybe it's just like she had a lot of ideas and she
Mhm.
just, it was hard to execute all of them at like the same level, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably accurate. You can
yeah,
definitely see the, like, potential that she has as an author, and then would be
yeah,
interested to
yeah,
see what she comes out with next, but I agree, I feel like there was a little bit too many moving parts, really, like, fully flesh out each one.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, and I don't know if it's just me. It might just be like a pet peeve of mine, but I also don't love characters who are journalists or like reporters. But that's just me. So that's my problem.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I I don't feel like I have a strong opinion about that, although I did read one review that I thought was very true about how Nar treated her job and like how like she should have gone to HR and like she would have had a case and should have quit. But instead she
Mhm.
like went behind her company's back and wrote this article and posted it on their website, and she promoted it on her social media. And like the fact that if somebody had done that in real life, they wouldn't be getting another job
Yeah,
because of the way they went
yeah.
about things, which I thought was interesting. She definitely made some interesting decisions as
Oh
far,
yeah, interesting
even though
decision.
her boss did suck.
I mean, her boss was awful, and like that
He was almost like
guy
a
was
caricature.
terrible. Yeah, he was a caricature. I agree. because like, yeah, there are awful bosses out there, but he was a caricature, and
Yeah, he was just blatantly.
I just feel like there was definitely a more mature way to handle that situation. Um, yeah, it just boils down to Nar being really an immature character for a woman in her late 20s, and
Yeah.
like, I guess like people like that do exist, but I don't know, it just wasn't enjoyable to read. So.
Yes, I think that is the key. Like, maybe this is realistic for somebody, but I don't wanna read about it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't want this to be the main character that I'm rooting for in so many
Yeah,
different decisions like this.
yeah. Like, I don't know. Everything worked out for her in the end, but I feel like Erebuni deserves so much better.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree, and I think you're right. I don't think that they will survive a
absolutely
long-term
not.
relationship.
No, no, no. Nar is gonna do something stupid again, and
Mhm.
Erebuni deserves better. So
Although it's gonna be hard to do something worse than the third act conflict.
yeah, yeah.
That was
Let's get into that. Yeah, the third act conflict
that was brutal.
was just horrible.
Yeah, just uncalled
Oh my
for.
god, like, really uncalled for, just so much lying and, like, just blatant disrespect of Erevuni as a person. It's
Yeah.
like, "What are you
Like,
doing?"
if you're in love with this person, how in the world could you, like, let your family think that she came on to you and, like,
I know, and
that's
it was
such a
Nara's
horrible thing
idea.
to
Yeah,
lie about.
it
I
was
don't
terrible. I mean, I get her being scared of coming out to her family, but,
yeah. Yeah, and to
like,
be outed like that would be horrible, and that's not,
yeah, of
like,
course.
what should have happened at all, but also, Nar should not have dragged Arabuni under the bus and, like, thrown her to
That's
the
the
wolves
thing. Yeah,
and
like,
disrespected
ruining
her.
her reputation and,
Yeah,
like, I don't know, I yeah, like, it just really left a bad taste in my mouth.
yes, 100%.
And if I were Erabuni, I would just be like, "You know what? Thanks, but no thanks. You're done.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
goodbye."
feel like there was a quite a bit of time in between, but Nar really got away with it without much groveling, like, I feel like she needed, like, a whole another book of groveling.
I know.
Everybody was going to forgive her, and really,
Yeah.
everybody, I feel like, did all the work on the
Yes! Oh
forgiveness
my god.
department, so
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't
Thank
know.
you. Yeah, I totally agree, 'cause that text exchange between them when they were, like, not together anymore after Nar really terribly messed up,
Mhm.
and she was like she knew she messed up, and she, like, barely yeah, like, you're right, she barely did anything, she didn't make up for it at all,
No.
and Edebuni was the one who reached out again, and it was like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
What is going on?" And the thing that gets me is that Nar went back what is his name? I forget his name,
I
her
don't know.
fiancé,
Yeah,
not fiancé guy.
yeah.
She basically was gonna go back to him. She said she wasn't, but that was her plan.
Yeah.
And then she tells Erevuni, like, "No, I wasn't doing that. You're wrong." And it's like, "What? What are you doing? What is
Like,
happening?"
to be fair, I can relate a little bit to the idea of, like, feeling like you're supposed to be with or, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, the expectations
Like,
of, like, "This is what I should want," and, like, trying to
yeah.
make that happen for you,
Oh,
and then
absolutely,
realizing
yeah.
no. But at the same time, Nar did it in such a way where she is hurting 2 different people other than
Mhm,
herself,
mhm.
and that is just she really, like, externalized those feelings and, like, drug people into the situation with her, whereas I feel
Yes.
like I would've been a lot more sympathetic towards her if she was just having this kind of conflict internally of, like, "I feel like this is what I'm supposed to want in this situation. This will make my life easier. I'm gonna try and want this," and then realizing if she can't and being
Yes.
like yeah.
Yeah.
But instead, she physically went to his house and was going to try to get back together with him,
Yeah. Yeah. She's
and
just
while at the same time being like, "I'm in love with Arabuni, but I can't be with her," like, it was too much.
it was a lot, yeah, like, like you said, I'm no stranger to comp het. I understand
Yeah.
also just like feeling like you should want XYZ that society says you should want, but you don't. That's all well and good, and that could be a really compelling character.
Mhm.
But the way that she, again, like you said, like just drags two different people into it and hurts them both in the process.
Yes.
Like what?
Yeah. And I feel like,
We need therapy.
the that's the ticket for sure. I feel like the author though too with her ex-fiancé was trying to make him like such a like a bad guy or like somebody who didn't truly care and
Who
like also had this
doesn't?
other girl in the wings. So
Yeah.
I feel like she was making him unlikable to justify Nar's shitty actions.
Mm.
But I mean, we saw through that. I mean, like she's still hurting this man. He still
Yeah.
thinks he's in love with her and wants to be with her and hasn't proposed to her and spent the past 5 years of his life with her.
Mhm.
And she's still just like throwing him away like matter.
That's an interesting point. That's interesting. 'Cause yeah, I mean, him like, he definitely is not an angel, like, he
Yeah.
kinda badmouths her family for being too loud or whatever,
Mhm.
and,
She
like
also has allowed that for the last 5 years and not said anything about it.
but that's also the thing, she's
So
been,
it
like,
and she
agreeing with
badmouths her
him.
family as well. And I understand the point of like, I can talk bad about my family, but you can't. But you could tell him that.
Yeah, yeah, like, if you've been together for
Don't
5
just
years and you're
do over
serious
it.
enough that he's gonna propose to you, like, you can have that kind of conversation, like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, he didn't cheat. It wasn't
Mm-mm.
him who, like, wanted his coworker, the coworker was
Yeah.
in love with him, but, like, he didn't
Yeah.
act on it at all.
No, he's just
So
oblivious. He's just an
yeah.
oblivious man.
Yeah, like, okay, he's a
He just
little
thinks
bit
she's his
dumb,
buddy. Yeah.
but that doesn't mean he's a terrible person who deserves
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
But
can't
I
believe
kind of
I'm
felt
defending a
annoyed that I
man.
was like, "I know. How dare how dare she do this to us?" Yeah, I felt like she was trying to make him unlikable though, but I
Yeah.
don't think she quite succeeded. Nar
Well,
still is the bad guy, I think, in that situation.
I hope he's happy with his coworker.
Yes.
Brooklyn says that Nara did not deserve a second chance with Erabuni, which I obviously agree with.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, like you said, I think dual point of view would have been great because Erabuni was an extremely interesting character
Mhm.
with her little witchy ways, and
Yeah.
she was just really cute.
I know, I definitely wanted more of that, and I
Yeah.
felt like if we had both of their point of views, maybe we would have seen more relationship development,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
just been less in Nar's head.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be in Nara's head that much.
No.
Yes.
Not really.
Oh yeah. So I also want to see where is this review? Okay. So I was on Goodreads looking at some reviews, and there's one kind of at the top by someone else named Annie, but it's not me. um, and it says that apparently the author like subtweeted this review, which is a really big no-no. And I didn't know that this happened until I recently just looked at reviews on Goodreads. So what are your thoughts on this?
So I did read that review, um,
Mm.
and it was I didn't love the review because it
Yeah.
does, mention how, like, they thought it's kind of implied that the, like, subject of the Armenian genocide and the Armenian culture aspects were too heavy for a book that was marketed as a rom-com, and they didn't wanna read about it. I feel like the reviewer came back and said that's not exactly what they were talking about, but I can definitely see how that could be interpreted from what they said because basically just said some of the topics were too heavy for a rom-com,
Yeah.
which I don't agree with. I do think that these discussions do have a place in rom-coms,
Mhm.
and I didn't think that they were done badly or too heavy-handed in this book personally, um, but then with the author subtweeting this reviewer, I think that's always not good. Like, obviously,
Mhm.
reviews are not for the author. Um, I can see why she got offended by that review, but again, maybe don't read them if you're going to be offended by reviews because once you put your work out into the world, it's allowed to be interpreted by other people. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But somebody in the comments of that review did say that she like immediately deleted the tweet and apologized and
Oh,
hasn't done
really?
it again. And that she is a debut author, so she was just like learning, and maybe we should give her some grace. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I agree with that. Like as long as it doesn't become a issue, I think maybe if she had doubled down on her subtweet, then that would be bad. But
Mm-hmm.
because she deleted it, apologized, and is a
Yeah.
debut author, as long as she changes her behavior and doesn't repeat that, I don't think it's a really that big of an issue.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Not
looking
sure.
at that. Yeah. 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 I'm looking at that comment right now, and yeah, I didn't even see this Twitter drama at all.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't care.
so yeah. I mean, yeah. It's totally understandable that she would, like you said, be offended by it.
Mhm.
And the reviewer did kind of backpedal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also think it's interesting that, like, to me, this wasn't a comedy at all. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a rom-com, and I think that a lot of just contemporary romance books are mismarketed as rom-coms
Mhm.
just because it's, like, fun to say, or maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, this wasn't a comedy to me at all. It was just a contemporary romance, and
Yeah.
that should be fine to market it as
Yeah.
that. I
I
don't know.
agree. Yeah, and I noticed that in a lot of the reviews that I read is people complaining about it being marketed, explicitly as a rom-com and, like, not being funny
Yeah,
and
like, it
being
wasn't funny.
no, it's just
No.
yeah, contemporary romance. Somebody said it was, like, between a contemporary romance and a literary fiction, which I don't really even agree with, I just think it was a contemporary
Literary.
romance.
Was not literary.
No. So, yeah, I don't know, I agree, I think things should be able to just be marketed as a contemporary romance. I don't yeah, not everything needs to be funny or
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like, interesting. Okay, I
Yeah,
guess that's the publishing world right now, because whenever people see rom-com, they always, like, they get really interested in it and they wanna buy
yeah,
it. So it's understandable that, like, they'd want that buzzword in there, but
yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I can see this being in the same category as rom-coms, like, I guess I don't know where else I would put it personally, because I do
Mm,
feel like it is similar to a lot of the, like, sapphic rom-coms that have come out recently. Like, I would put it with Delilah
yeah.
Green and with Kiss Her Once for Me and those kinds of
Yeah.
books, which are more rom-com-y because 'cause they're more silly, but
Yeah, that's true. I
they're still
mean,
all contemporary romances.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm. Well, yeah. So, what was your favorite part of the book? Some positive things or anything else you wanna share? Oh, did you freeze? Oh, no. Some technical difficulties. Hello? Alright. We've got some technical difficulties, so we'll wait for Jess to get back. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it more than we did, honestly. Um, but, you know, with a book club, there'll always be some ones that you don't like. It's okay. It's okay, Jess. Yeah, I understand. Um, but yeah, there'll always be ones that we don't like and ones that we will like. Um, we'll talk about the book that we're gonna read in March, which I am almost finished with actually, in a little bit. And hopefully people will like that one more and it will be more successful. So we'll see. There will be some more contemporary romances or rom-coms in the future. If you guys saw my announcement video that just went up today, a few hours ago, about the April, May, and June picks for the book club, we're reading first a YA fantasy, The Shattered Lands by Bretta Nation, which should be really interesting. It's such an anticipated read of mine. And yeah, it's a fantasy. And then we have, what is it called? It's a contemporary romance that is based on Pride and Prejudice. I am forgetting the name. Just As You Are. It's Just As You Are. That should be really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that. And then in June, we're reading You Don't Have a Shot, is what it's called, by Raquel Marie, which is a YA contemporary romance about soccer. So we have a lot of interesting things that are going to be happening, a lot of good picks that I'm really, really excited about. So hopefully the club will kind of find its footing a little bit more, and we'll have some 5-star reads perhaps, because I haven't had a 5-star read here yet, and I'd really like to, because I always like giving sapphic books 5 stars. That's what I like to do. And when I can't do that, I get sad. So I really want a 5-star sapphic read for this book club. And if any of you have any suggestions, they don't have to be new releases. They can be backlist or anything. For some favorite sapphic books that you want us to read in the future months, definitely let me know. You can comment here while we're waiting or anything. I just read, actually, well, I put it on hold for a little bit, but I am in the middle of A Day of Fallen Night, the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, the sapphic epic fantasy of our dreams. So Day of Fallen Night is really, really good so far. I didn't pick it for the book club because it's, like 800 pages and I didn't want to put people through that, but it's amazing. And it's even better than Priory in my opinion. So I love it. I'm very excited. And I just got from my pre-order, The Faithless by C.L. Clarke, which is the sequel to The Unbroken, which is one of the books in the Sapphic Trifecta that was published back in 2021 now. Wow. Yeah, so The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke is my favorite book that I've read this year so far, still. And it was the first book I read this year. So I started 2023 off with a bang. The Unbroken was absolutely an amazing fantasy book, focusing on anti-colonialism, and it's inspired by like Africa and Arabia, and it is so good, and I can't wait to read The Faithless. I'm going to read it after I finish the book club pick, which is A Mimicking of Known Successes, and A Day of Fallen Night, which I'm like a little more than halfway through. So I'm really excited to read The Faithless. To everyone watching, while we're waiting, what are you in the middle of reading right now? Can you guys tell me? Anyone? No? Okay. Oh no. Jess, where are you? Okay. Oh, I just finished Twisted Love. What is that? Let me look that up. Twisted Love. Is this erotica, Brooklyn? Oh my god. It is. Oh my god. The tagline is, "He has a heart of ice, but for her, he'd burn the world." Oh my god. By Anna Huang. All right. I'm not really one for erotica, but it's not sapphic. Yeah, I gathered that. Thank you, Brooklyn. You don't recommend, so you didn't like it. All right, let me see. Hmm. Ooh, yeah, Tammy, who's also a booktuber, she gave it 1 star. So I don't think people are really liking this book that much. There's so many 1-star reviews, Brooklyn. Why did you read this? Oh no. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Oh wait, isn't this like a really famous book talk book? I've seen the other cover. It's blue. I've seen this around. It's a brother's best friend / opposites attract romance. Oh, and your sister made you read it. That's, yeah. Oh well. That's all right. We all have some stinkers. What else am I reading? I am in the middle of so many books right now. Like I said, I have A Day of Fallen Night. Oh, Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones, which is the sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw, which I absolutely adore. It's one of my favorite horror books of all time. Stephen Graham Jones is amazing. Oh no. Oh, Jess. Oh no. All right. That's okay. Oh, all right. Well, mm, we can end here. If you have any ending thoughts, Jess, please type them out and we'll talk about it. Um, but yeah, that's all right. It's some bad luck. Um, well, my ending thoughts for this book is, I know it's very tragic. This sucks. This is our first time, me and Jess, doing a live stream together, even though we've both been watching each other's channels for like 2 or 3 years now. And I was very excited. So this is tragic. But yeah, let me know your ending thoughts. My ending thoughts, I wasn't a fan, which you probably gathered. So I really want a good book. The next book we're reading, again, is Mimicking of Known Successes by, let me see, Malka Older. Okay. And it's a sci-fi novella. It's like a mystery as well. It's about 2 detectives, and they're sapphic, of course. So a little bit of a short book this time, which is fun. And it's a totally different genre than the first 2 books for this book club. So I hope that everyone likes it and gives it a try. And I will be doing a live show with, let me see my notes, with Gabriella from Books and Nerd. Okay. So I'll set up the live stream for that. And that should be around the first week of April. And I'm really excited to read this, to finish it, because I'm almost done with it, but I'm excited to discuss it with all of you. So, all right, Jess's final thoughts, ending thoughts. I wanted to love it, but it just let me down in too many ways, but I'm excited for the next pick. Yep, totally agree, 100%. Thank you, Jess. All right. All right, so if all of you need to go subscribe to Books Past Bedtime, because she is consistently my favorite booktuber. Okay, she's amazing, and all of her videos are so entertaining, and she's just a delight to watch. So definitely go subscribe to her. All right, and yeah, so yes, you're adorable and amazing, and thank you so much for coming on my channel. All right, I hope we can do this again. And yeah, I hope you guys all join us for the next pick and next live show. All right. All right. So take care, everyone, and have a good night if you're in our time zone. All right. Bye.